Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Rob Burgess, who is the Chief Business Officer for Sino Biological. And today, we're going to be talking about bioreagents and also learning a little bit more about Sino Biological. So, first of all, Rob, Happy New Year. It's lovely to see you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Rizwan. Happy New Year to you as well. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to see you. And where are you calling in from, Rob?
Austin, Texas.
Well, I thought you were, so I put a Texas Rangers jersey up behind me just to give you a bit of support, make you feel at home. So before we start talking about Biological and bioreagents, for those not familiar with the company, would you mind giving a quick overview of the business?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Rizwan. Thanks for having me on your show. And before I get started, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everybody who's attending. I appreciate your attendance and listening in. Sino Biological is a bioreagents and CRO services company that was founded back in 2007 and has since become one of the world's leading providers of bioreagents and CRO services. So these products and services allow researchers really in both academia and industry to advance basic biological research and make key findings in life sciences, but really also to translate those findings into vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. Sino actually has one of the world's largest selections of what are called recombinant proteins at over 8,000 individual SKUs and targets. And related to this, Sino has thousands of antibodies, assay kits, and many other products that help advance life sciences research and translational medical research. So really, I guess you could say that the mission of the company is to advance life sciences and improve human health by providing quality bioreagents and CRO services.
Fantastic. Now, I know that obviously your products you just mentioned are used for things like virology and immunology research as well. So how has the business been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, I have to tell you, we're obviously certainly disappointed that the world has been suffering from COVID-19. But I will also say that we're very proud at Sino Biological with regards to the effort that we've made to provide the tools and the reagents and services to combat COVID-19. So, for example, in January of 2020, when the first nucleotide sequences were officially announced for the spike protein and the nucleocapsid protein, it was just 10 days or so after that announcement that Sino Biological had manufactured those proteins in bulk and put them in the catalog for official launch. And it was about 3 days later, actually, that Sino had the recombinant antibodies, which bind specifically to these proteins as well, in stock and officially launched. And so this gave pharma, biopharma, biotech, and academic researchers a head start on learning more about the virus and really developing vaccines and diagnostics kits for tackling the virus. And related to that, we have since gained quite a following of immunologists and virologists, and we've actually expanded our viral antigen bank. So these are recombinant proteins for a variety of different viruses, and it's called ProVir. And we actually have the world's largest selection now of recombinant proteins for other viruses. And so COVID-19 was a real wake-up call for Sino Biological that we can actually make a major impact in the areas of virology and immunology.
Right. I mean, you mentioned that you were able to turn it around in 10 days. So how were you able to turn it around so quickly?
It's very interesting. We have proprietary technologies at our headquarters and development and manufacturing site in Beijing, which allow us to scan those nucleotide sequences very quickly, optimize them, and introduce them into cellular-based manufacturing settings very rapidly. And our teams in Beijing, they actually work 24/7 around the clock to develop these proteins and these antibodies, because we realize that time is of the essence for combating COVID-19 and other viruses. So really the teams are working around the clock with proprietary technologies and it makes Sino the fastest in the world at getting these high quality reagents out there.
Right. But obviously speed is one thing, but the other thing obviously very important for researchers is consistency in reproducibility. So how have you been able to maintain high quality in terms of the products you've been producing?
That's right. There are a lot of facets that researchers in industry and academia look at when choosing a bioreagent or CRO service provider, and certainly quality and consistency and selection and price point, stocking availabilities are all very key. So at Sino Biological, we have an entire quality control department, and all they do is test for things like purity and bioactivity. And for recombinant proteins, they actually can exhibit specific bioactivities in certain cell-based assays. And so our team in Beijing, they actually develop these cell-based assays, and they test for things like programmed cell death or effects on cellular migration or effects on stem cell differentiation or effects on T cell response. So if it's possible, our team will develop that cell-based assay, confirm the bioactivity of our bioreagents, and then provide that data to our clients.
Right. Okay. Now, one thing I want to go back a bit is let's talk about reagents. Let's start from the very beginning. For those who are not familiar, what actually is a bioreagent? What is it used for, and why is it important?
Great question, Rizwan. So I can tell you that bioreagents are crucial tools that are needed for all basic biomedical research, as well as translational medical research. So they're basically applied to discover new pathways in advanced life sciences research in basic biomedical research experiments. They're also utilized to design a vaccine, to design a therapeutic as therapeutics themselves, or to design, for example, a diagnostic kit. But it's very important that these reagents are, like you said, of high quality and high consistency and perform as they're intended. If a reagent is not designed properly or doesn't have the proper purity or bioactivity, a researcher will actually get the wrong data from their experiments. They may publish that data, which leads other researchers down wrong biological pathways. And this can really devastate certain areas of biomedical research. So at Sino Biological, we actually manufacture and QC and validate the bioactivity of all of our products in-house. Everything is 100% manufactured, developed, and QC'd in-house. And this eliminates any kind of inconsistencies or inaccuracies that clients might realize from other companies.
Right. I think you sort of preempted my next question, which was actually going to be, what are some of the main challenges companies face when selecting and using bioreagents? I mean, apart from what you just said, is there any other challenges that researchers would have when they're selecting a reagent and using it?
Well, definitely selection is a key. They like to have a one-stop shop for all the bioreagents and CRO services needs. And so again, I just want to emphasize that Sino has the world's largest selection of full-length bioactive recombinant proteins and a huge selection of corresponding antibodies that bind to strategically chosen recombinant proteins. So selection is key, but also price point, certainly as it applies to academia. Many academic and nonprofit researchers are on limited budgets with their grants. And we want to make sure they can get these products at a price point that's very desirable, that doesn't basically bankrupt their grant position. I can tell you also availability. You have to have the products in stock, and we have warehousing, of course, in China, but also in Europe, as well as the United States, and we deliver overnight to many researchers in many cases.
Well, that's a good point, actually, Rob. So I was going to ask you, I mean, obviously over the last 2 years, supply chain has become a big buzzword and a big issue for a lot of companies in terms of getting stock in. So how do you ensure that you do have that sort of solid supply chain to make sure that your clients do get the products on time?
Sure. Well, I can tell you that in Beijing, like I said, we manufacture all of our products 100% in-house. So there's not a single product that we bring in and relabel under the Sino Biological brand. So we completely control the manufacturing process, the QC process, and then the shipping process. And related to that, if you take a step back up the supply chain, we have locked in agreements for raw materials acquisitions exclusively in China. So we also control our raw materials supply. So with that being said, raw material supply and manufacturing is within complete control in China, and this allows us to really eliminate any supply chain disruptions or needs that may arise there.
Right, brilliant. Okay, so I've been doing sort of series this month reflecting on the last year and looking ahead. So one question I've asked everyone, and although this is not part of that series, I thought I'd ask you the question anyways. How would you describe 2021 in one word and why?
2021, one word, that's a great question. I would say impact. And what I mean by that is Sino Biological made a great impact on the COVID-19 pandemic through the supply of the bio reagents and the CRO services. And honestly, if you look at the at-home diagnostic test kits that are out there today, about 50% of all of those kits have Sino Biological antibodies in them. So we've made vast strides in diagnostics for COVID-19, but also in vaccine development. Our spike protein is utilized by the major companies for their design of vaccines. So we've had a big impact, if you will, on the COVID-19 pandemic, and we expect that to continue, and we expect that impact to expand into other areas of infectious disease and really basic life sciences research moving forward.
Well, that segues quite nicely actually to my next set of questions, which is looking ahead to 2022. So how do you see the applications of bioreagents, reagents, developing in the future? And also, how do you see CROs developing in the future as well?
Great question, Rizwan. I can tell you that we envision bioreagents no longer being viewed or sequestered as basic biological research tools, or even tools used for vaccine or therapeutics or diagnostics kits development. We envision them becoming the therapeutics themselves.
Right.
And in fact, if you look at the studies these days, they suggest that basically by 2026, 8 out of the top 10 therapeutics are forecasted to be biologics. So we envision that what we're creating now, primarily for the research use only sector,
sure,
but also for the translational medical development sector, these things will be biologic drugs themselves. And so we're very excited about that. And Sino's moving in that direction. And that will be to manufacture the biologic therapeutics themselves for pharma, biopharma, and biotech moving forward.
Right. And what about CRO services? Do you think they will stay as they are, or do you think they will morph into something different as time progresses?
I think they're going to expand and morph into new capabilities. I believe that industry, as well as some academic labs, are going to outsource even more of their basic research studies, their manufacturing, their QC and validation. They're going to outsource a lot more of that to companies that specialize in, companies that have streamlined services capabilities. They can do it cheaper and with higher consistency and quality that they can do themselves. So we think the future is very bright also for CRO services.
Right. And then that leads me on to, obviously, from a Sino Biological perspective, what can we expect to see from you in the coming 12 months?
Well, I can tell you the company is expanding quite rapidly. We successfully completed a record-breaking initial public offering back in August of last year on Chinex, the Shenzhen subsidiary stock exchange. And this is allowing us to grow the company strategically. So we're going to expand our direct sales forces in China, other parts of Asia, as well as Europe and the United States. We're going to expand our manufacturing and CRO services capabilities in Beijing. And we have a number of acquisition opportunities that we're looking to execute upon so that we can increase our physical footprint worldwide, but also increase our services and manufacturing capabilities. So the company is growing quite rapidly, and we couldn't really be more excited about the future.
Fantastic. Now, looking ahead, where can people get more information about Sino Biological, and where can they meet you guys, either face-to-face or virtually?
Certainly. Well, the Sino Biological website, which I believe you're posting here, which
Sure.
would be great. We'd love for people to check that out. And I can tell you that at our sites in Beijing, Frankfurt, Philadelphia, our newest Houston marketing office, and new sites that are coming this year, everyone is welcome to come and visit us and tour our sites and meet with us to discuss their needs and discuss our capabilities. Our doors are open to clients and potential partners. And then related to that, I can tell you that next week we're going to be at Pep Talk in San Diego. We've got a nice booth display there. And then the following month in March, we're going to be at Festival of Biologics, also in San Diego, and a variety of other conferences throughout the year. AACR in New Orleans in April, we'll have a big presence. The World Vaccine Congress in DC, and various other conferences. And I also want to emphasize too, that we have free live webinars that we host where we bring in industry leaders and they talk about their technologies and capabilities and offerings. And they also talk about how Sino Biological's offering has positively impacted what they do. And so your viewers can register for free on our website to attend those webinars. I'm the moderator, and so I would really encourage them to do that.
Fantastic, Rob. Well, look, that all sounds very exciting stuff. And actually, unfortunately, I can't make it to San Diego next week. I was really looking forward to Pep Talk because it's one of the last events I did before pandemic, and it's a great event, I know. So I hope you have a great event there. And the Festival of Biologics and the other events you mentioned are great events as well. So all I can say now is thank you very much. I wish you a fantastic and successful, prosperous, and more importantly, healthy 2020 for you, your family, and for the whole business. So thank you very much for your time, for talking to me today.
Thank you, Rizwan. I wish you the same as well, and I look forward to meeting you in person sometime this year.
I look forward to it, Rob. Well, there you go, viewers. If you'd like to know more about bioreagents and Sino Biological, then please check out the links, which are going to be I can't remember if it's above or below above the video, but also put any comments below the video if you've got any questions for Rob. And also check out the website and meet them at, if you're at Pep Talk next week in San Diego, by all means, go and see their booth and have a chat with the team there as well. So all that's to say is, once again, thank you very much, Rob. Have a fantastic 2022. And thank you, viewers, for watching. Have a fantastic 2022. And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.